My first guest this afternoon of the program appeared on stage at the tender age of 17. She still looks about 17 when you look at her online. She appeared then in a role of Sleeping Beauty. She's appeared since in The Sound of Music, Anything Goes, The Wizard of Oz, and performed overseas too in Korea. She's had TV highlights too with Good Morning Australia, Carols in the Domain, and Full Frontal, even hosting children's shows such as Madagascar Live and the Teenage Ninja Turtles. It is. That's always hard to say. The teeth won't go in. The list goes on and on. Christine Newell is releasing a CD shortly. It's an EP of some of her songs that she's written, and she's taking those to stage too in a show called Places I Have Been. Christine Newell is my first guest this afternoon. Christine, nice to have you with us. How are you? Nice to have you. Did I say Christy or Christine?
I think you said Christine.
Yeah, I did. Good. I was hoping I did. How's it going at your place, Christine? Is it raining yet?
Not yet, no, but I preferred yesterday a lot more than today, so...
Wasn't it a gorgeous day yesterday?
It was beautiful.
Wonderful day. It's not raining here. We've had some drizzly stuff throughout the night and the morning, but we're waiting on those big clouds to break open. And on the weather radar here in front of us, it's right over us now. So it won't be long. You'll get it too.
Okay. All right, well, thanks for the warning.
Christine, it's so nice to have you online with us. Sleeping Beauty was your first show there at the age of 17. How'd you get involved in the entertainment industry?
Oh, look, do you know, it was something I wanted to do from a young age. I'm not sure why. I mean, look, both of my parents are musical. They play musical instruments. My dad was a lovely musician and my mum played piano. So I think I grew up movies and musicals and just, instinctively that's what I wanted to do.
And what age were you then when you got involved in that? You must have been quite young.
I was dancing from a very young age, singing kind of in my teens, but Sleeping Beauty at 17 was actually my first professional gig. So I'd kind of been working towards that and and then just went out, got myself an agent, did auditions, knocked on doors, and was lucky enough to get that, which in turn opened a few other doors for me.
That's pretty hard getting that start, isn't it? You say knock on doors, and so many people these days don't do that, even in a general work situation. And it's such a pity because you've got to do that hard yakka, don't you?
Look, you do, and I think it's something that people don't understand, especially from a lot of the reality shows that are on at the moment, that, it is a vital part of it. You just have to, get off the couch and go for it.
Yeah, because it's not going to do it for you, is it?
No, look, it's not, and I didn't know where to start, like I'm sure a lot of young performers feel that way. So I just did my research, I read books, I applied for courses. As soon as I left high school, I kind of spent that following summer straight out of Year 12 in Queensland doing a musical theatre course at the Queensland Performing Arts Centre. So instead of going away and celebrating the end of school, I went straight there and knew that's what I wanted and, just used, everything at my disposal to try and get there.
Christine, you were saying that your mum and dad are musical. Did they encourage you or push you as a youngster?
Only encouraged. Absolutely no pushing. And, they were very, very supportive, I guess, because I chose not to initially take up a musical instrument. So they could have been very pushy by saying, look, this is what we did. This is what we want you to do. But I kind of wanted to do the dancing side of things first and find my way through that. So they just supported and, stood aside and let me go.
And it's certainly paid off, hasn't it? Look, you were in the ensemble of one of my favourite movies of all time in the stage shows, The Sound of Music. I was lucky enough to see that a number of times in Melbourne, and it still remains my favourite. What was it like being in the ensemble in that? And, of course, you did an understudy, too, of Leigh.
Yes, I did. Look, it was amazing. Like you, it was my favourite movie growing up. I was always singing the songs in the back of the car on the way to, family holidays and things. And it was I felt very privileged to, again, I was only 22 when I did the show and I was, relatively inexperienced. I hadn't been to WAPA or any of the big prestigious, musical theatre courses. So it was a huge learning curve and, a very big privilege for me. The cast was absolutely amazing. I was performing with real veterans of the stage, June Salter, Bert Newton, and I learnt so much.
Well, you had Lisa McCune there too, didn't you?
I did have Lisa McCune, yes, and she was absolutely wonderful, just such a professional. And again, I learned so much from her as well. So
now, from all of that, you've gone solo now, and I dare say you'll go back on stage when that opportunity comes. But you've gone solo. You've recorded an EP. Tell us about the EP. How did that come around?
Yeah, sure. Well, look, I guess I've been writing for about 7 years now, but I hadn't really put my music out there. I was just kind of feeling my way, and I was also studying composition and songwriting. So when I decided to do my one-woman show this year in March at the Kew Courthouse, I guess unintentionally at first, my songs found a home in the show. And then, from there, I took it to the stage, and then once I'd done the first show, I was approached by a number of people asking if I had my original songs on a recording. And at the time I didn't, so it seemed like the logical next step.
So you recorded those. How many's on the EP? Is it 4 or 6?
There's 5.
There's 5. Oh, right in the middle. How's that, eh? Yes, right. And these are all your originals?
They are, yes.
Yep. And one we're going to play as we go out from the interview shortly, and it's called Fancy Cars and Ferris Wheels. Now, it's quite a light, bright little song, got lovely words to it. How did you come around to write this one, Fancy Cars and Ferris Wheels? Does it go back to Mum and Dad's days of, the 40-year age and go and get a fancy car or something?
Look,
don't tell them I said that.
Definitely not. I'm not in show business. There was no buying a fancy car. Not for me anyway. No. But look, it actually came from, as you mentioned, I've worked in South Korea. I've been really lucky to work in a few different parts of the world, and that formed the basis for my show, Places I Have Been. And so a lot of my songwriting, you write from personal experience. So a lot of my songs are written about my travels and about the people that I've met along the way. And so Fancy Cars and Ferris Wheels is about my time overseas. I think, more specifically in this song, it's about some time that I spent working in Italy and traveling through France. And the special people that I met and the memories, the things that I remember most from those times.
It's a quite a beautiful track, and we'll play it later, but it's descriptive and in your word forms there. It's a beautiful little track. I can't wait to hear the rest of your CD when it comes out.
Thank you. Yes, I know. I'm very excited. I'll be releasing it at the next performance of my show on the 2nd of October.
That's October the 2nd, yeah. We're going to mention that because it's the production out there on Sunday the 2nd. It's at 4 o'clock at the Kew Courthouse, I think, and it's called Places I Have Been. So you're going to take us on a whirlwind trip around the world, I would say.
I am, yes. We'll start in Australia and then, move on to South Korea, Italy, a little bit of France, and yeah.
Krista, you told us there about the inspiration behind Fancy Cars and Ferris Wheels. What's the inspiration behind all your other writings? Have they been personal experiences? Have they been things that happened in South Korea or here in Australia?
Yeah, look, definitely. I write very much from personal experience. So things that have happened in Australia, experiences from working in theatre, of course, your personal life you draw from. I've also adapted a few poems by a poet that I came across called Joan Saville Grigsby, and she had quite an interesting life, and as it turned out, she lived in Japan and Korea back in the 1920s. So I really fell in love with her poems, and I took a couple of them and adapted them to music, wrote the music for it. But most of the lyrics are my own, and they all come from personal experiences.
Christine, how difficult is it to do that? You've got the words in front of you, you've got these poems there. What do you do? Do you just have a bit of a melody line that comes through to you, or how do you start out doing it?
Yeah, look, I think everyone has a different process, but I very much start with the lyrics. They're my inspiration, and then I, have a little bit of a play with a melody line. I try to focus on the sentiment of the song, and I try to reflect that in my melody, and then, add some chords and have an idea of the shape and the arrangement. And I work a lot with a wonderful man called Curtis Bayliss, and he actually accompanies me in the show. And so I tend to take my lyrics, my melodies, my chords, and my ideas for arrangements, and then we put them together. So
it sounds fantastic. It sounds wonderful. And these songs, amongst others, will be featured, of course, at the Kew Courthouse. You're there to sing, not to be arrested. And it's a great venue to go to be copped out, isn't it? Boom, boom.
Fantastic venue. Yes,
out.
Sorry, I missed your pun.
You did. You missed it. I gave it to you, Christine.
I'm so sorry, Leigh.
We should do a show together, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'll be your left-hand man.
I tend to write my shows over the summer, so if you're free.
Oh, all right. Okay. We'll get together over summer.
All right.
Perhaps over a cold Chardonnay or something at the same time.
That would be lovely.
It'd be nice. Let's repeat for our listeners again. It's the production coming up October the 2nd, 4 o'clock at the Kew Courthouse. It's called Places I Have Been, with this lovely lady, Christine Newell. You get to meet her, hear her wonderful music, and go on a journey with her as to what she's done in her life. Christine, how can we book tickets, please?
Okay, you can go to the Kew Courthouse website, so it's qcourthouse.com.au, or you can go to my website, christinenewell.com, and there's a link to ticket bookings there as well.
Mm-hmm. I want to take us out with that song underneath your voice there, and it's the one that you wrote, which is on your EP there, Fancy Cars and Ferris Wheels. Great to talk to you. We'll see you on the day.
Thank you so much for having me,
Bye,
Leigh.
Christine. Ta-da.
Bye-bye.
Memories I recall